Good morning. Happy Friday, guys. 22nd of May. Good morning to all you guys. I'm a little bit early today, 30 minutes early. Sorry, Roy. But hey, you never know. It might work better for someone else today. Got a drywall guy coming to look at a few things here at the house at around 8. So, excuse me, I wanted to get get this punched out before that. So more of you guys will be catching it on the rewind today. But that's okay. We've been talking about 10 hard truths about building a dangerous business. Today, I want to cover how chaos is more expensive than you think. So pop in here. Let me know how you guys are doing on a scale of 1 to 10 when you come in. See if anybody jumps on. And we will continue with the live 365 today. So everybody's going to get on at 8 and go, hey, wait a minute. I did have a little tumble off the ladder yesterday, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Not bad for a day off. So, yeah, guys, a lot of business owners think that their biggest problem, and I've had this lately actually, is that they don't have enough leads. But for a lot of companies and a lot of business owners, the real problem is chaos, missed communication, like not getting back to people, constant reacting. Disorganization, no systems, no follow-up, last minute decisions, emotional leadership, just being reactionary, right? Scary part is that most business owners think this is normal, right? They're so used to it that they just kind of operate in chaos, but that's expensive. It's expensive to operate like that. It's going to cost you profit, trust with people, with customers, clients, and employees. It's going to cost you time and energy and team morale, culture. It's going to cost you a lot of opportunities, just being chaotic. So that's what I wanted to talk about today. Yesterday, we talked about how businesses mirror leadership. Good morning, Roy. What are you doing here early? Just kidding. I gave you a shout out earlier. Yeah, I've got a drywall guy coming around 8, so couldn't nail him down. So I figured I would get this done. Get out to you guys. So I want to talk about one of the silent killers today for growth, and that's chaos. Good morning, Dan Bennett. Yeah, like chaos is not hustle. All right, you guys have heard me joke. Busy, right? Putting fires out. Chaos is not high performance. Chaos isn't entrepreneurship. Well, you're an entrepreneur. It's going to be chaotic. Well, it might be at times, but best of luck, Roy. Yeah, give our love to Patty. Some business owners aren't building businesses. They're just kind of surviving emergencies, like just playing fireman, putting the next fire out, okay? Good morning, Devin Lehman. How you doing, brother? Chaos can become your operating system if you're not careful. Yeah, what's your operating system? Oh, chaos. We just put out the biggest fire. We talked to who's screaming the loudest. And we kind of like slowly normalize late payments, missed communication, unclear expectations. We just normalized messy scheduling, going wherever, very reactive decision-making and incomplete systems. Nobody knows what's going on. And it's just a bunch of scattered priorities. When chaos becomes normal, nobody slows down long enough to fix it. Everybody stays reactive, and then that firefighting just becomes routine. So if everything's always urgent, nothing's ever being led. Nothing's ever being directed, okay? And as I always say, there's a hidden cost, right? There's a hidden cost to chaos. Profit margins, right? How much more profitable would you be if you were organized? Employee retention. Nobody wants to work in a place that's frankly a shit show, right? Reputation. Oh, those guys are a mess over there. They don't know what's going on, right? Client trust. Client journey through your company needs to be very intentional, okay? I'm talking about the real cost of chaos here, guys. Mental energy, family, peace, consistency, time with family, really. Growth capacity, right? How do you scale something you don't even know if it can handle that? It's just chaotic. Some examples of what it creates is like callbacks, forgotten materials. How many times somebody driven right by the supply house only to turn around and come back? because of poor communication. So we get duplicate work, unclear scope. Then it's emotional team dynamics, and constantly switching priorities to put out the biggest fire. Chaos creates exhaustion long before it creates bankruptcy, guys. It'll tire you out, okay? However, some owners secretly thrive on chaos. Think about that. You ever know somebody that's just like, "Oh, how you doing? Oh, it's just chaotic. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know whether I'm busier than a one-armed man in a paper hanging contest, one-armed paper hanger. I don't know, right? Some owners feel important when needed, right? They want to feel valuable solving problems. So they're not going to fix the system that creates the problems. They subconsciously create this dependency. They also struggle with structure and delegation. Okay. So some owners say they want freedom, but emotionally they're just addicted to the firefighting. It's just their life. Well, this is business. This is the path I chose. It doesn't have to be. Okay. We talk about becoming dangerous. The last 10 days, we talk about dangerous as a person. Now we're talking about becoming dangerous as a business. Dangerous businesses create clarity. Okay. They communicate clearly, define expectations, slow down long enough to build systems, documents and processes, write shit down, use chat if you have to, right? Reduce that emotional decision making. If this happens, then we do this. And just build that structure intentionally. It's not perfection, guys. Okay? Just less unnecessary chaos. All right? The goal isn't to eliminate hard problems. The goal is to stop creating avoidable ones. Okay, what's that Jim Carrey thing? Stop breaking the law. It's like stop doing stupid shit, right? Don't do it again. Okay, make that stuff pay. Make those lessons pay, guys. Chaos gets normalized way too often in business today. It drains profit. It drains energy. How many people, myself included, had a time where you just can't stand your business? You're like, well, wait a minute. It's a reflection of me. Back to what we were talking about yesterday. What am I doing? I created this thing. Some business owners intentionally fuel that. Okay, subconsciously probably. And if you can get some clarity, it just creates power. You're back in control. You're back driving the bus. All right. So what's one area of chaos in your business that you've just kind of started treating as normal? And ask yourself, hey, if everything were in play, and you had an open mind and you sat down at a big table and you had to describe all your processes and why you do things to somebody that knew nothing about your business, what would you be embarrassed to tell them? Well, we've got a pile of crap out there in the shop that nobody knows where it goes, right? Like, take care of that stuff. Write the processes down. Make sure that you can describe your business to somebody and that it makes sense. And I always, with my coaching clients, I always create this vision. Like, let's say, Devin, let's say somebody comes into town, wants to buy your business for $10 million. And they say, I like what you're doing. Want to buy it. You say, oh, sure. Yeah. And they take out their checkbook, start writing a check. And they say, I just need a manual on, I don't know anything about the HVAC business. I just need a manual on how to run it. And you're like, oh, yet you haven't created the processes to be able to tell somebody how to do it, right? So anyway, get rid of the chaos, guys. When somebody asks you how you're doing and you say surviving, that's probably an indicator that you need to get rid of the chaos, that you're fighting too many fires, okay? Because ultimately, people will stop asking you how you're doing. They'll just say, hi. that's easier, right? Then you don't do the dump on them, right? So anyway, guys, people are joining the Edge live all the time. These are the kind of conversations we go deeper on inside, like real leadership, real business operations, real accountability, not just motivational fluff, okay? We're building businesses intentionally inside our Edge Live community. Check it out. I'll put the link in after. We got a lot going on here this morning. Bailey and my mom are coming up for a visit, check out the house. And we've got a drywall guy coming over. And I'm going to stay off ladders today, I think. for the most part. I got a new respect for the little giant ladder yesterday. I don't know if you know it, guys, know when you open that thing up and then it gives a little bit of a 3-inch kick to it. And if you kind of pull back and kick, the legs will go out. Well, I had the shorter legs up on the stairs and the longer legs down on the concrete. And I needed to get over just a little bit, so I kind of leaned back and pushed the legs out. When I leaned back forward, my leg went off the porch. So I had a finish gun in my hands and a hammer, and was headed for the concrete below. And the 50-year-old concrete like slab footer that was there. So fortunately, I've always been pretty good at falling, like knowing I'm gonna kind of roll and tuck and all that. And I hit with my hand and opened that up pretty good, and then put a good road rash on my leg on that 50-year-old concrete. Sat there for a second. I'm like, I think I might have broken my arm. And I'm like, no, that's good. Everything works. Shoulder, clavicle. Yeah, no, didn't hit my head. Sat there for a minute, and then I'm like, okay. Wendy got back, and there was a trail of blood up over the stairs into the kitchen. I had the first aid kit blown up and wrapped it right up. Just back out there working. But yeah, I got to slow down a little bit. So I was, trying to walk around backwards on a little giant and put some V-match up on the porch ceiling, and I ended up down about 8 feet down below. Not good. So we don't want an injury. So we gotta be a little more careful. So slow down just a little bit. But fortunately, nothing broke, which is good. So, but I do have a pretty good gash on my hand, which probably could have used a stitch, but we'll just glue it back together and keep on working. As Dave Brackett said yesterday, rub some dirt on it. Anyway, clearly a faulty ladder, a very faulty ladder type of thing. And the 25-year-old, Dan, right? Walking the ladder. Like, how about hopping the ladder on the side of the house? After 50, no good. Yeah, you're right, man. You're right. You don't bounce like you used to either, right? Like shit hurts. Shoulder's a little sore today. But anyway, and I was planning on taking the day completely off. And then Wendy started staining the posts out on the porch. And I said, we could use that V-match that came off the guest room ceiling. And we could kind of we're just kind of temporarily polishing up a turd, which is the porch out there. We're going to rip that off and do a new one probably in a year or so. But it was PT and looked like crap. So decided to redo it. So anyway, guys, I got to fly. I got the drywall guy here. Talk to you soon. Love you guys. I'm out. Later.